now here I am in Romania with a 1-year-old, almost 2-year-old, and now it matters more. And Romania is very heavy on Christmas. So they go caroling, like old school caroling. They go to people's houses, sing outside, go inside, eat some food, go to the next place. It's so cute. It's really a charming bit of culture. And they
go inside and eat a meal at each place they carol.
Like when they carol, it's not like you're caroling strangers. Usually, you carol people you know, and people have food. If you're expecting carolers, like people usually know if someone's gonna come. Like you'll get like, can we carol you? People usually find out ahead of time. So you'll come by and eat some food, have a drink, horinka always. And then everyone sings. And if there's kids, the kids always sing extra and the kids get money. It's so cute.
The kids like get money
kids
from
get
the
money
carolers, or
from the people that you go to someone's door or whatever and that you sing and the kids always get money. It's so cute. It's funny. Yeah, it's the type where and kids will just walk around neighborhoods and try to carol people just to get money. It's kidding. Not
is
kidding.
it like
That
a
is
progressive
what that does
mob?
happen.
Like it starts with 3 people, and then after like 5 houses, now you're up to like 18 people or something.
Like people just do it separately, like with their own groups of friends or family.
Huh.
It's cute though. We got caroled by random strangers a couple times, but normally it's not like that. Normally, it's like you go as your family to one of your family members' house, and then you hang out for a while, and then you move on to the next place. It's a lot of food, a lot of horinka, which is like a plum distilled spirit. That's horinka. Like it's also called palinka or suika. It's moonshine. Straight up moonshine. It's moonshine, but with plums. It's distilled plum moonshine, extremely strong.
Interesting. And is that on Christmas, or is that like all this time leading
Christmas
up?
Eve, Christmas Day, and sometimes the second day of Christmas as well.
I haven't caroled since I was like in high school, I don't think.
Yeah, they still do that here. It's cute.
Interesting. Is it a lot different than like the Christmases that you grew up with in the States?
Yeah, I feel like we only did Christmas morning, presents, and then you go have one dinner. Like I never went to other people's house. I remember I guess sometimes you would go to two people's houses for Christmas, but not usually. At least not I know anyone I was ever with or my family. It was just like you just have one place you go usually. I don't know. Americans don't really still carol, do they? I don't know. I haven't lived there in a while.
People carol, and it's in all the Christmas movies, of course. I just haven't done it myself, and I haven't had people show up to my door. Yeah, at least 15 or 20 years. Like we had one the other day where the whole town has like a big walk downtown, like down Main Street, and at the end they light, one of the big trees gets lit up, and there's carolers there, but that's like this big civic event,
Yeah. Definitely different, but it's fun.
The any other like strange or like different Christmas traditions that you've picked up on?
So I wouldn't say strange, it makes sense, but in the month of December they always get a big pig. So like I actually need to make a video for that on my Yankee in Transylvania YouTube channel. I have it all recorded from a year or two ago. I think 2 years ago actually now. But they go to the farm. It used to be this kind of more barbaric, dare I say, thing where the person would physically go and cut the pig, like kill the pig themselves. Like that would be part of the sport of you choose your pig, you go get it. But now it's more like the humane, like they have their little farm guns. They kill the pig quickly, painlessly, just done. It's not barbaric. They get the pig, they process it in front of you. They put it on the big thing. They start burning off all the hair. So I have the whole video of them like not killing the pig because I didn't think that was necessary. But like the aftermath of burning the hair off, cutting it up, butchering the parts, doing all the and then making all the stuff afterward. Like it's fun, like to think of, or not fun. I shouldn't say fun. It's a crazy process, but something totally logical. Like they use every part of the pig. All the fat gets saved to be used for cooking. The skin get used for certain things. And our first meal after they're done processing the pig for the day of what they've cut up and processed and everything's packaged. The first meal is, they're still in the process sometimes, but brains. Oh. I have a video of Lily eating the pig. It's actually really good. It's like it gets blended up, and then they just cook it with like eggs, kind of like a breakfast, like a scrambled. It just tastes like almost like a ground meat, but softer with lots of.
Christmas
they do it really
brains.
well. Pig brains.
Christmas pig brains. Like
Oh well, that's not on Christmas Day, but it's like in the season.
the pig advent calendar on like one day at a time. We're on Hoof Day today.
I brought America to Romania though with that. I asked for a pork shoulder. There's only 2 shoulders on a pig, so I got one of the full pork shoulders fresh from the pig. And that weekend I made pulled pork, barbecue style, slow cooker. Really fun. And made sandwiches with it and everything. And we did like caramelized onions, and it was fun. They loved it. But that was my way of bringing a little American flavor over.
Was that Papa Tez was saying for culture, like no matter where you go, they have barbecue. There you go.
Oh yeah, he's in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a barbecue capital. Well,
Yes.
Hey, party people, welcome to the podcast. Obviously, today we have Suzi for the Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Sorry, we're talking about dead pigs already.
This is perfect. This is exactly what the people want.
Oh man.
Christmas brains. That is new. That is culture, man. That's what I love about culture. Interesting. I do remember when I was in Romania, I kept asking, like, I want to eat all the local stuff. Like, what's the local food? I want to eat the local food. And like every time I did that, the meal was some dish where it was like 5 different meats and cabbage, or 5 different meats
funny.
and a potato. It was just always meat.
Yep.
It was like the Romanian thing.
Very meat. Good luck being vegan here.
Well, so let's kind of rewind back, because I want to know
Intro.
the whole story. How you got into content, how you decided to move to Romania, what that's like. And I did not realize that you had a Yankee in Romania YouTube channel. I'm gonna have to check that out now.
Yeah. So now, of course, people know me for Suzi, Fateless community manager. But a lot of what we talk about on this podcast, obviously, is just going to be me personally, me content creation. So my comments do not necessarily reflect that of Fateless. Don't judge them too harshly.
Yeah. No Fateless, no leaks, no bad stuff.
No, we can talk Fateless and Godforge, of course, as well, because that is a big key. But yeah, I started with content creation as Ivy League Gaming, covering Raid. Like most of us, we followed Simon first, back in his days of no face camera, no camera stuff, just chill Simon making videos on Clan Boss. And that's how I learned to do Clan Boss, with Simon's videos and his takeovers. And when he decided he was going to do Twitch, that's the first time I made a Twitch account, because I just really liked him. And so that was, I'm still subscribed to Simon on Twitch because I just can't bring myself to end the streak.
Does he not ever stream anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't bring myself to stop it though. But yeah, I joined that way. I joined Twitch, and then after just hanging out with people for like a year, I ended up starting to do content myself. At COVID, I ran a photography studio, and during COVID, I wasn't able to run events. I always had models over, and we would do big photography events with models, and it was a lot of fun. But in the U.S., when I lived in the U.S., but I couldn't do that for a while. So I was like, what am I gonna do? Maybe I'd try to stream like those guys. That seems fun. I think I'd be good at that. And I just tried. On Christmas Day in COVID was my very first stream ever. Christmas Day in COVID. Yeah, that's true. I forgot that was my first ever live stream. And then that first live stream or second live stream, like that first week, Simon raided me because he knew who I was, because I was already a member of his community. And it grew pretty quick. And so I started with Twitch, and then like a month later, I made a YouTube channel and started posting the shard pull videos from the streams kind of thing. And that's where that kind of took off, or where it started, then took off really fast, because I was already like known to the other content creators, because I was already in the community. They knew who I was. They were all supporting me. Like I was always one to talk in the chats, and my name was familiar to them. That was really helpful. Another value of community, right? Like just already being there. It helped me get started as a content creator stronger than any other like random person would have. Pretty cool. But then I think I ended up I ended up connecting with some friends from other games, and I would do these Thursday night shenanigans where we would curse like truckers and drink lots of alcohol and be really, really ridiculous and fairly inappropriate and just have fun playing these stupid waifu games that we were playing. And that's when I met Odd One Gaming, my husband. He came into the chats and was just always super funny in the chats. And that was kind of the vibe. You know, it was very unfiltered, very silly. And we were just super funny and everyone had a blast, lots of laughs. And that's how he would start coming in the chats. And he joined us. I'd have like 3 or 4 content creators joining me for the Thursday night shenanigans streams, live streams. It was just like this fun grouping of, yeah, it was always fun. But then, I don't know, I was with someone else at the time, so I didn't really think anything of any of it. But eventually it kind of made me realize, you know, when your mind starts going elsewhere, you realize you're not maybe happy in your current situation and start to analyze that a bit. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I can't get to know you, but I want to. And it just kind of turned, we're like, let's do it. Like, it was just like let's do the thing. And I think after talking for a bit, I ended up randomly just be like, great, let me go to Romania. Let's meet. And it was kind of like, if we're going to do the thing, we're doing the thing.
Were y'all each content creators before you met each other? Like, was he doing raid content at the time?
Yeah. He was very lightly though. Like, he was streaming a little bit and posting like a couple videos a week maybe, but he wasn't very consistent. I was definitely one that got him to start posting daily and really encouraged him to go hard with it, and he did really well afterward. But he started very chill with it, kind of just casually playing.
I watched both of y'all back in the day when I was doing Player. I watched most of the content creators. I mean, like anybody, I ended up with my favorites. Simon was on that list because he's on everybody's list of favorites for CCs. But I was confused by the Suzi thing because I was like, Ivy Lee? Like, it looks like you? Ivy. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ivy Lee was just Ivy Lee Gaming wasn't really like an important name or anything. It was just the name I had used starting because I have like an Ivy tattoo around my hip, and it was just like a nickname I had gotten. So I decided to go everything Suzi because I was being called Suzi for Fateless. I had started the Yankee in Transylvania YouTube channel way before then, which I never post on, that I need to post more. But I call myself like, hey, like I'm my name Suzi. And I went with Suzi starting with Romania. Like, my name's Suzanne. But Suzi was the first time I started using that spelling of Suzi when I moved to Romania. It was kind of like a new start. And like, as Suzi became more prevalent with the Fateless stuff, I'm like, why don't I just switch all my stuff? Like, sooner rather than later, I'm just going to switch it all. I'm just going to be Suzi everywhere and let it be more obvious that I'm the same person that they're talking to. Because I think that's part of what's special about Fateless as well, is it is a bunch of content creators and stuff that a lot of people know already. And that I feel like that makes people more connected to us. You feel like you already know us. And then like you feel like you have a little bit more faith and trust in than just some random stranger that's making a game. You feel like it's, it's a little more intimate.
Yeah, it's something that I guess I'm like aware of and I talk about all the time, but I've never quite put it into those words, that there's like an implicit trust there with when you have familiarity with somebody. Like, if one of my friends made a video game, right, I would play it versus like just whatever random game came up on Steam today, even if it was a genre that I wasn't interested in. So yeah, like, and in this strange world of like parasocial time spending, right? I don't even want to say relationships because that's kind of antithetical to the concept, but like where you spend 4 hours a week digesting content from like somebody and you start to get this perceived connection, then they go do a project. It's like, yeah, you're drawn to it. There's that authenticity and that trust there.
Yeah, I feel like certain content creators, depending on their vibe, their whatever, they just feel like Simon is definitely one that people just connect to for whatever reason. I think he's just more, it just feels very honest, like when he likes something he says it, when he doesn't like something he says it. Like, he's never fake. He's chill. I don't know. It's funny because he's a salesman. You would think the opposite, maybe, right? That's his background. He's a salesman. But he's actually so not the stereotypical salesman personality at all. And he's been to my wedding. I've met him multiple times. He's definitely not at all like what you think, oh, you're a salesman. Like, sometimes that comes with a negative connotation. And he's just super chill, nice guy. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just part of why we connect to him.
So you did Ivy Lee. You started with Raid. How'd you discover Raid? Were you into gachas or hero collectors?
No, I was playing like Clash of Clans and like the Walking Dead games or whatever, like, or not, Clash of Clans and other random stuff on my phone here and there. But then my ex was playing it on his phone, and I'm like, what is that? That looks cool. And then that's how it started. Like he started playing it from, you know, the like Slap at the Bass YouTube guy.
Yeah,
like as a bass
totally.
player. That guy had a Raid ad, and he was a bass player. And
they will do ads with anyone.
They really do. But that guy had a Raid ad, and my ex downloaded the game because of seeing it on that guy's YouTube channel. So that's an interesting fact too, of like how smart Raid is to go out of the box and not necessarily, let's just do all gamers. Why not you just find people in the demographic that are like the average 35-year-old working guy is like the demographic. So like target those people in whatever way you can. It doesn't have to be a game. They're really smart with that, or they used to be. I don't know if they do as much anymore, but really smart. I was at a bar and I saw a Raid ad. I was like, what is happening?
I remember being at a taco place. This was, I think, before Raid, and I was playing Marvel Strike Force at the time on my phone, and my coworkers like refused to play a hero collector because they felt like it would, you know, they would want to spend money on it. So they were all playing other games. And there was a commercial came up for like a new hero in Marvel Strike Force on the TV in the taco bar. And I was like, oh, the times they are a-changin', you know?
That's funny. Yeah, marketing's crazy with them.
So then we go, Ivy Lee, we change to Suzi. You go to Romania. How many trips did you make before you just pulled the trigger?
Technically, we pulled the trigger before I even went there. It was kind of, yeah. It was very risky, very crazy. Like, I don't know. It's one of those, if you just say it out loud, you sound like you're delirious and you need to go to like an institution. But then, but it just, I don't know. I could tell he was just a good person. And I don't know. I just went with it. And it was, we met in person. It was like, yeah, worst case scenario if I met him in that December, whenever that was. I don't even know what the years anymore. Who knows when that was? 22, 21? I don't know.
COVID was on the decline at that point, right? Like things were getting back to normal.
So it would already been probably the year after, whatever the year after COVID. And yeah, I think I would have maybe changed my mind. But it kind of would have been too late. Like I kind of made that commitment to, we're doing this thing. I'm going to go to Romania. We're going to meet for Christmas. Then I'm going to come back home. I'm going to pack up my things and then move there permanently a couple months later. Like we made that commitment before ever meeting in person. And that was me uprooting my entire life. Like that's something I talk about in my Yankee in Transylvania series. Like I was a photographer. I had a studio. I traveled full time. I ran a lot of businesses there, revolving photography and events. And I just gave away my entire studio, like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of equipment and things I'd worked my like 13 years for. I just gave it all away. I gave my car away. Well, I ended up selling it very cheaply to my best friend. So I got rid of my minivan. I got rid of everything. Didn't keep any of my personal belongings besides what fit in a few suitcases. Had to say goodbye to my dogs that I loved very much. That was the hardest part. Sorry, person as well. But yeah, it's like, it was just a weird whim that you just kind of, you just go with the feeling and then luckily no regrets. You know, it could have been a terrible regret. Life, it could be terrible. It could have been the worst decision in my life, but obviously it ended up being the best because here I am now with Lily, who's our amazing daughter and just like so perfect and with such a good family too. It's like, not only do I think my husband is an amazing guy, but we're really lucky that his family is so wonderful, so supportive, and just really, really, they really value family so strongly here. And I don't know, we're lucky we get babysitters. Lily, like I can work all day because we have grandma to babysit, and that helps us a lot for sure.
That was something I noticed over there as well, was that family units seem to be very tight. Yeah, lots of events.
And it's everybody.
Dinners.
Yeah, big family, big dinners, exactly.
Yeah. with apparently lots of meat and Christmas brains. So
Yes.
So then with Fateless, it sounds like, you and Simon had a good thing going for early in your streaming and content creation career. And is that what just snowballed into him eventually saying, like, do you want to come be a part of this?
Yeah, I think when they were working on, they had their small staff to begin with, and then they were just using obviously Magic Media was like their art stuff, but they were just more internal with kind of recruiting people they knew. Like Brad was recruited on the design team early on, and he's doing amazing now, and he has been. And for my position, I don't know when I guess they just decided it was time to fill the role, and they said I was the only name on the list. I was like, oh.
Nice.
Like when they thought of who would make a good community manager, they just said I was the only name on the list. And I feel like it's literally it's like the perfect job that I could ask for, because I like the idea. I've always enjoyed the working for yourself vibe, though. Like I was a photographer and traveled and ran my own businesses. Once you start working for yourself, it's really hard to work for someone else. And then I was doing content creation and YouTube and sponsorships. And this was a little bit of a scary jump. It's like, oh God, I'm going to work for someone. But if I could work for anybody, the number one person on that list would be Simon. Like that would have been 100% my answer if anybody asked, well, who would you want to work for? If someone was making a game, or what company would you want to work with? What would it be? It would be them. But so before that, I'd already worked with them a little bit with HH Gaming. I was the one doing articles on Hydra.
Oh,
so I was doing a lot of, and I was making like these Hydra guides, like the head of mischief, the head of decay. Like I made like the series of videos with articles surrounding those, and like Hydra basics and lots of stuff early on the HH Gaming website. So I already kind of I worked with them a bit previously, but they knew like when I quit Raid, I played a ton of other games, and I was so intertwined with all the content creator programs. People would always say like, oh, you're pretty much the CM here. I would get always funny comments of, oh, you should be the CM, or you talk more, you help more than the CMs do. I get those funny comments, and it really felt like I couldn't say no. Absolutely. It was like, oh my God, yes. I felt so honored to be considered for this team. There's really something special with Fateless. Like we had a meeting last Monday or a couple Mondays ago, and one of the lead developers just talked for a few minutes about how special it is. Like he's like a guy who's worked on some top-end projects, and just saying like we're all these people part of so many high-end previous projects, like big companies, but there's just really something about Fateless that's special, and that we're a part of something amazing. And anytime they show what we're working on to other people, everyone just is blown away by what it actually is and who's involved. Like the resumes of these people are insane. And these people come to us or are recommended by their friends. It's not like we're not necessarily seeking out these specific person with this crazy resume. Those are the ones that have happened organically. So it's really impressive to see what's been what the company has attracted, what the game has attracted. So excited to be a part of it in any way. So I'm really, really, really glad they asked me way back when.
Yeah, I remember when he announced. I can't remember if it was one of Simon's videos or one of Ash's videos when I heard the name Fateless, and it was like, we're making a game or something like that.
That's Simon. Yeah, I remember that was his first video on his Hell Hades channel, I think.
And it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, something like that. And I think at the time I was getting pretty disenfranchised with Raid for the first or second time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm excited about that. That's going to be cool, but it's going to take them forever. So it's like in the background. And then the first announcement about what the IP was going to be, I was actually a little bit disappointed. I was like,
me too.
I feel like
I was like, I don't care about myths and legends.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't
felt
need
that way too,
another
actually.
Odysseus game or something like that, because I associated Greek mythology just immediately. It was going to be Greek mythology. But then, also, I specifically did not consume content before the alphas because I wanted to be surprised by everything. I didn't want to know going in and have expectations. So then when I got in and I was like, I was really surprised by the Aztec mythology. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, this is great. They've got like macahuitls and stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah, I was exactly the same when they first announced the IP. When I was not working for them yet at that point. I remember being like, oh darn, they didn't go with something cool, and I'm like, I don't really care about that. But what's the funny part is now I do. Like it had the reverse effect. Like I did not care about mythology really that much at all, honestly, or any of these legends and whatever. Like I didn't care, or getting to know things about the gods of other cultures. But now because of Fateless and Godforge, I'm more interested to seek it out. I'm like when I see there's going to be a movie or a TV show about something, I'm like I'm way more interested than I used to be. So it's kind of fun that it's had the reverse effect. Versus some people are going to be attracted to the game because they already liked mythology, and then I guess we were the opposite. We were like, whatever. But I'm like, okay, now I think it's cool. Now you really see the possibilities. It maybe, like you said, maybe sounded like it might be in a box and it might be too limiting at first. But there's thousands of gods in just one culture, and depending on the culture, like there's so much you can really do with it. And it's not to say we can't have our own unique characters as well with this IP. It's a little more open as well, because like we're creating our own world of Riven, and it's more like we have these general guidelines of this is pretty much like, okay, yeah, Aztec, like Mayas, Incas, Aztecs. That's pretty much the vibe of that. But could that be other stuff? Sure. Or Dracula is in a Slavic faction, but he's not Slavic. Hungary and Romania are not Slavic. But, it's like, but it's close. Close. It's like, it's not necessarily, they don't want to say like, this is the Slavic faction, this is the whatever faction. Like, they want it to be more open to flow as needed. So that's also one thing too, is like the possibilities are kind of endless, because you can take even just a little inspiration from the overall feel and create an original character, or maybe you I don't know, it's just there's the idea of branching out to other things that we haven't covered yet. There's just so much we haven't even touched. So, or yeah, other realms, I should say, not factions, other realms.
Get the language right.
I know. There's so many. There's so many.
What was a god that you didn't know of that you now do because of Godforge that actually became like a rabbit hole you went down?
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. I would say my rabbit holes are mostly Viking stuff, and so I guess the Nordic stuff I didn't really care about, but now I care more. And then we really went down a rabbit hole of all the Viking shows, and then Vinland Saga as an anime is just incredible. Sham and Brad had recommended that. It was really good. And I know that this might be a little bit of a leak, but there is a character in there that Brad was told, go watch this anime to get inspiration for creating this character. So that's kind of cool. And like they're huge fans of One Piece as well. So I actually see like in Hell's animations when there's like the black crinkly stuff that kind of goes along with it. I'm like, that looks like hockey. It's like Conqueror's hockey and all that fancy, like the terms that they use in One Piece for their, I guess, abilities. It kind of looks like that. I'm like, there's totally inspiration there. If not, it was unintentional. That I think it's a good coincidence, but kind of fun to see where they're taking inspiration from as well. Like I love all the vampire stuff too. Like we watched True Blood, Vampire Diaries. We're watching originals now. Odd loved both of those, and then the one after. But we watched like Aaron, the narrator, actually will always mention some really good series to watch. What was there was a really really good one on Netflix recently. The Dream. What was the Dream one? Or not a vampire though.
Sandman.
But it had Sandman. That was another thing. Yeah, that was one of the fun things I've seen because of. And there's like I never really realized how many shows, movies, whatever, have references to mythology or gods. It's like everything. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. Like it's just everywhere.
Well, I mean, in a similar boat, I think for a lot of those people who made creative endeavors like movies and TV shows, it's because it's a free IP, right? It's by its own nature open source.
Yeah.
But you get graded by the public on your faithfulness to the source material, right? Because there's quite a high potential there to offend some people.
That's, I think, that was a big factor in the Svarga faction with the India Hindu type inspiration not being included in the end, because I think that one received the most criticism out of anything we'd ever posted. Like, people loved that we were doing it, but then it's like, no, this can't be this. This has to be this. This cannot have this. It was just, all of it was very, I don't know, particular. And that is because it's a very actively practiced religion. So it's just a sensitive thing. But I really think that was a big factor. And it's something I stressed too. I was like, I've never seen so many comments of people saying, like, you can't do this, you have to do this. I think it was a smart decision in the end, although it's kind of a bummer because, like, the characters were so cool and so interesting. And while some people would love to have that featured, it was a little bit too touchy.
That's actually, like, something that I feel pretty strongly about in general, is like, there's that concept that'll get thrown around, and I don't want this to, like, cross into, like, some political realm or anything, but there's that concept of, like, cultural appropriation that'll get thrown around. And I remember the D&D stuff that Hasbro or Wizards went through recently, where they wanted to retcon a bunch of things because the original, like, Gygax and them were naming things after, like, Hindu gods back when nobody in the United States knew what any of that was. And even, like, Final Fantasy did it, right, with, like, Tiamat and Vishnu and a lot of stuff like that. And there's this pushback for some strange reason of, like, well, you used it in a context that's not, like, how we honor it, so therefore you shouldn't use it. And on my side of the fence, I'm over here like, look, as a little white kid in the United States who would have never heard of Vishnu or Tiamat anyway, your culture got exported to me because this random other white dude was using the names. And then at some point I go look into it and I'm like, what's the real thing behind this, right? And, like, that's where I feel like some people, when they try to squash things in the name of cultural appropriation, they're really doing the culture a disservice, because it's a way to learn about things, you know?
That's Japanese culture. Like, the Japanese love when people appropriate them. It's so funny because as Americans, we jump to that cultural appropriation labels or as if it's an insult. But that's something I remember finding out, was that Japanese find it, like, they take it as a compliment when you use their show their culture. When a white person wears a whatever outfit, they're not going to be offended. They're going to be happy and proud that you're wearing their thing.
That's awesome.
I think that's one of those misconceptions, is we just think, oh, be careful, you might be offending somebody, but it's not. Obviously, like you gave an example of a case that is more sensitive as a culture, but not all of them. I think that's true with Romania too. That's one of the really sweet things about being here, is they're very proud and they're very appreciative, and they love Americans, which is funny because not many people do. Kidding, not kidding. But they love my accent when I talk clearly with my American accent, when I'm not trying to talk softer or slower and accidentally have, like, an accent here. They love it. And if you just try to say a couple words, they appreciate it. They love it. They're like, oh my gosh, you say something, like, or if you talk about their food, if they give you something to eat or drink that you've never had before, they're just so excited to see if you like it. Like, I feel like if I wore an EA, a Romanian, like, my shirt, the cute, like, cultural shirts that they wear, an EA, if I wore that to the US and took pictures in the US, they'd be, like, so proud, you know, like, the stuff, like, they really embrace that. So I do love that. It's obviously not all cultures that are too sensitive to that, but it is such a weird line to cross, because even when it comes to the heroes in Godforge, like, Guan Yu's so good, why is he a rare? He should be a legendary.
Right.
You know, like, even that stuff comes up too, but it's such a weird line. Like, people get genuinely offended if their favorite characters are not a legendary, but everybody can be a legendary.
Yeah. I like the idea of the joke on this, on today's podcast that came out, which, of course, our episode will be airing later. So today is not today for the listeners.
So
but
Christmassy time, right? You said?
Yeah, the question about when's Robin Hood coming out. And then it immediately went into, is he a legendary or is he a common? And is he the best common? And it's like, that's almost like a better way to honor the mythology, right? Than to make him a legendary, is to make him like the king of commons.
That'd be fun. That's always been, like, the running joke, because I feel like I don't know. Half the staff probably love the idea, and half the staff probably hate it.
I'm lobbying hard for. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
I don't
Finish
know
the
if I don't have a. I would say I don't really have an opinion on him though. I'm like, I don't know. Does he deserve to be in a game? I don't know. Isn't he that dude that like steals from people? Like, is that good? I don't think so.
Well, he's a Disney fox. You know, people love
Yeah.
animated foxes these days.
Oh, that's true. There is that version.
I'm
man.
lobbying hard though for Rabbit of Carabanog. I think that I saw, maybe it was Aaron or somebody in one of the threads was saying that there is an appetite to do an IP crossover, even if it has a cost associated with it. And I know because I looked it up, since I thought this was such a good idea. I looked it up. The rabbit is copyrighted as a character in the Monty Python like IP catalog.
That
Whoever
Monty
has it.
Python. Oh my gosh, that is
So
funny.
Killer Rabbit and Tim, but they fit so perfectly into Avalon, like so perfectly as little like joke characters or little like fan service throwback characters.
Monty Python would be amazing as a collab for sure. That would be great. I think I've seen a list of potential collabs with other IPs that we already have connections to or have discussed, and I will say it's impressive. You're like, holy crap, they're gonna go there. It's impressive. I don't know for sure what or when that first one will be, but I've seen the list and I'm like, okay, yes, any of those, do it. Like, go. I can't believe what's even on the list that have direct connections where people know people. Well, that's the one good thing I will say. Like, our people are well connected, and that value is definitely going to pay off in stuff like fancy IP collabs, I think. Well, now the question's going to be, of course, getting to that point where they're going to accept you because they want to see that you're established and well suited as a game too. Like, they're not just going to do a collab with anybody.
Oh, right.
Like whoever manages those IP like that stuff. But there's also the reality, of course, of money. So we have to do pretty well first to be able to afford it. Be willing to sacrifice those profits from whatever that big event is going to be that they're going to take a huge cut of.
I think I've mentioned a long time ago now in one of the Discords, but I think Hello from the Magic Tavern would be a cool collab to do, and you could almost make an entire faction off of there. It's a strange podcast for anybody who hasn't ever heard of this. Obviously, anybody watching this probably likes fantasy stuff, but the shtick with Hello from the Magic Tavern is what they know in the first episode. What they know is that one of them's a wizard, one of them's a badger, one of them is a human from Earth who got stuck on the wizard and the badger's world. That's all they know, and now begin the podcast, and everything anybody says is canon. So every episode builds on itself with like world building. And if somebody screws up and like gets something wrong, it's canon forever. That's part of the universe now.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
it's
really
hilarious. Clever. It's a comedy podcast, but they're constantly like interviewing magical creatures because they have a podcast on this weird world. So like they bring in their comedian friends to be a goblin or be a shark or something like that.
Okay. I like that.
So, yeah, Usador is the name of the wizard. He has to always announce his entire name, which is one of the gags. It takes like 3 minutes to get through his whole name. So let's see. We talked about Ivy. We talked about the move. We talked about Fateless. You're still, though, making content for other games, right? You mentioned a couple of the things that happened right after Raid. I think you did Eternal Evolution and Awakened Chaos Era, right? But they didn't kind of go anywhere.
No, Eternal Evolution was great. I did better with Eternal Evolution than I did Raid. I came in at just the right time when it went global. My views were very consistent, and the RPM for how much you get paid per ad was so good. It was incredible. That was actually better than my Raid time, which was interesting for sure. But they kind of, I don't know, that game was meant to be like a little bit of a mix of an idle RPG. And it became too much. Like, it was like they were full on. It was so time consuming. Doing so much content just took too long. And the game was heading in a weird direction, starting to just directly sell a hero for like $500. That was like ridiculous pack. Like, yeah, they did some really weird things. They introduced these like super, I think SP heroes that were extra special. And that kind of like when like Raid would introduce mythical heroes like that, or champions. That was a little bit controversial as well. So they definitely took a different direction in the time that I was starting to slow down my interest. So I think I moved on to other games that I was just starting to play at the same time. But I don't even remember if it was like, I think I switched. Oh yeah, I think at that time when I decided to move on, I was maybe playing Infinite Magic Raid.
Infinite Magic Raid, okay.
I did play Awakened Chaos Era. I played so many. Yeah, like a lot of the anime ones like Eversoul, Higa Naruto, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact. I still play Reverse 1999 on my one channel that has some Godforge content. And my main game is Watcher of Realms. That's my main channel. And that's very different because it's like the tower defense play style.
Yeah, the placement.
But it's not. But it's like, it's one of those where I would have never chose to play tower defense. At the time, I was kind of, not going to lie, I was like, I don't want to say desperate. I was just wanted to find a game. So I was like, fine, I'll try it. It was like, okay, the King Arthur thing was a hot mess of a beta. You know, like they started really bad with the beta. Everyone was really negative about it. It's like, okay, not going to touch that one. And then eventually I did at launch. But that's another story. But then, like, I think Dragonair at the time, I was already playing on my other channel, but it was kind of chill. And I think it was in between the beta and the other one coming out. It wasn't global yet. So I was like, okay, my main channel needs something. I'll try Watcher. Why not? I got a small sponsorship. One video was cheap, not paid well. I was like, I'll do it. Why not? And it did well. Like it was more fun than I expected, especially as someone who I much prefer turn-based games, and I still do. Like I happily and finally admit, Watcher of Realms is not my favorite gameplay style, but it's a very well done game, and I feel like it's a good learning curve for someone who's never played that style before. And it feels familiar with the other systems, with gearing and team building and synergies and stuff that you would expect from other hero collectors. So I don't know. I have a great relationship with Moonton. They're a fantastic developer. I know every developer is going to get criticism and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a gacha game, and they got to make money. And if you can be transparent and admit when you mess up and correct things and make it right, then you're doing okay. And that's what they've always been so good about, being overly generous with gifting things when they need to. The events are very, very generous. And are they perfect? No, but is any developer going to make every person happy all the time?
Fateless.
No, so we wish. That's the reality too with Fateless, right? Oh my goodness, like we want to, but can we? No, of course not. Like nobody can make every type of player happy. Or if you build for everyone, you're going to please no one.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. That line that you were going down talking about Dragonair reminds me. I have the leftover questions from when the sheriff was on the podcast.
Oh no!
And he was the sheriff was forced to ask the Suzi questions to 9, so 9 answered as you. But now that we have you, we can ask you the questions and see how Suzi would have actually answered. So,
okay. And yeah, I did not, to be clear, I only half watched the podcast so far, so I did not get to this part, so I don't know what the questions are yet.
Suzi doesn't know the questions. We've established this. All right, so this one is from Zavarok. So Zavarok asks, Suzi, how did your time as a content creator dealing with community managers on games like Dragonair help to influence your style?
It teaches me what not to do. I mean, kidding. Not kidding. So I think it showed me the value of communication. And that's just even when it's communicating that nothing is happening, you just have to communicate. Some of these games have gone radio silent for the longest periods, or just completely ignore the biggest issues in the game, versus other games that are just like, okay, guys, we hear you. We don't have a solution yet, but we're working on it. Like that kind of communication is more valuable than staying silent. And I think that's probably just the reality of communicating. And it doesn't have to be like you're 100% transparent. Like obviously there's going to be systems that you don't want people to know, or you can't tell people for whatever reason, that are business decisions. And I can respect that from any developer. But I think just being there and communicating anything, even when it's negative, like people will appreciate that versus being radio silent. And I think Like, I was very involved in the Dragonair Discord and the content creator community as well, and I was very helpful with new people coming in. And I would see new people coming in and not have a clue about anything. Like, there was no onboarding. There was no like, here, go to this thing and check out this file, or this is where these are. These are like, I feel like that they just like threw people in there. So I think just another communication, whether it be with the public, with the content creators, just keeping people in the loop as best they can and making sure like new people are properly welcomed, and like, yeah, response times. I feel like I might be like, hey, I'll reply to you tomorrow, or hey, I'm going to bed, I'll get back, or it's the weekend, I'll get to this on Monday. But there's been so many times where other games and other community managers just ignore you, and that's not how I would ever want to be.
Yeah. Well, King Arthur, I think, is like my favorite example of like to
there
this
was no
day,
community manager.
who are those people? Like, it was a black hole of communication. There was just no way. And Netmarble was just a publisher, right? It wasn't like,
well, that's the thing. It's like King Arthur with Netmarble. They're a Korean-based publisher, and they did everything with forums, and it's just a different setup. Like,
yeah.
I think they just went with a very, like, everything's in the forums, go through this to ask questions, go through this to send an email. It was just very, very formal. That is a good example of, like, the opposite. Like, we're your friends, we're hanging out, we're gonna chat shit and laugh with you guys, versus we're behind this businessy forum, fill out this thing. And yeah, that, I don't think that they realized how much the Western audience does not appreciate that kind of a community, or lack thereof. There wasn't much community there, and it was kind of sad. But I think they learned, because Netmarble was also, although technically it was a different branch of Netmarble. They did the Game of Thrones King's Road, and their Discord was the exact opposite. The community managers were there all the time, talking constantly, and were super involved. I was like, whoa, did you guys learn something? But then I think it's technically a different branch. But for whatever reason, they just had no one around. There was like no staff to talk to. It was really weird in King Arthur Discord.
the amount that y'all interact on Discord, I wonder, is there a point where the scale is too great for that to persist? Like, let's say Godforge is a screaming success, which is what everybody wants it to be, and all of a sudden, we go to 50,000 to 500,000, and then everybody's on the Discord. Like, is there a break point where you even maybe have plans for this to deal with like thousands of messages at a time, and massive voice chats and risk?
I think I already felt that in the alpha. Like, I was so busy with, we had a very busy ticketing system at first that I pretty much had to ignore all the chats. Like, I was like head deep into this one area. But I think, look, there's going to be a couple options going forward, like more branching out. Like, okay, maybe one person focuses more on the ticketing while the other person will be, more directly with the people in Discord. But also the reality of, once we get to those points, we'll be able to hire more community managers, hire more customer service specific people to handle some of the things. Right now, we're just at a point where it's still a small team. I mean, yeah, there's 50 people in the team now, which is crazy. But when it comes to like the community side, it's me and Rachel, and then Simon and Dan. But Dan doesn't talk as much in the Discord for public stuff, and Sam is like the marketing more geared toward. He doesn't really engage, so it's really just me and Rachel right now. And I'm full time, so I'm always around when I can, at least in my working hours, even when I shouldn't be. I'm on my phone a lot. But I think the big thing, besides the reality of, they already said, of course we'll hire more staff when we need to and when we can, but also the moderators. The moderators are key. So just making sure, and you see how great the moderators are, like Zavarek and everyone just in Nine. Always, like, even throughout Alpha, working hard, playing hard, and still constantly in the Discord. Like, they were crazy. Like, he did so good. And I think that value of just having super interactive moderators, and I think that'll be my job, to help communicate with the moderators so they know how to answer the tough questions and the repeated questions, and making sure that there's a clear line of communication there for them to be able to answer just as good as I can. But I definitely am still going to be involved. And I think now it's, the content creator stuff has been pretty quiet, but I certainly want to, you know, chat with you guys a little more directly in those private channels as well, like I used to. But things have just been pretty quiet because we are in a little bit of a lull phase, right? We're waiting for the next thing. We're waiting for at least some sort of the mini game / web event stuff. We are waiting for that early access to actually happen, that will be announced officially for a date or something. Like it's kind of this, yeah, in between. So it's surprising that things are quieter. But when things get crazy, I think we have a big enough mod team to handle it. We just might have to poke some other people to get active again and maybe add a few more. And I think Simon's always going to be involved no matter... I think the harder part is getting the game ready in the first place. But once it's going and maintaining it and still adding more content, yeah, it's going to be busy, but I don't think that'll take away from the involvement. I actually think it'll bring back more staff. Like Simon was always in there in the alpha. Corey, our head of product, the guy who's making a lot of the big decisions involving monetization, involving summoning systems, and a lot of the choices that we're making overall with the future events. Like he was in the alpha chat constantly. And I'm starting to see more of the other people, like, you know, Aaron with the lore. He's always around checking out and saying hello. Yeah. Seen a couple of our VFX guys like Steven get involved as well. And I think maybe with the hype and the excitement, people actually pop in and enjoy it and share the hype a little bit more. I don't think they'll go away.
Nice. Well, let's ask you another one of the questions that you're not aware of.
Oh boy.
So this one is from Papa Tez. And Papa Tez, I know he's one of my favorite people that I've met in this Godforge journey so far. Suzi, what does soon TM mean to you?
The realities of game development and live ops. That sums it up. Kidding, not kidding. Because deadline, it's something I know Simon would say the same thing to, or any of them would say the same thing. And then on paper, you have this nice, perfect timeline. Actually, Dan said it really well. Dan, Fiction Dan, in a LinkedIn post. He's like, you have a roadmap, you have a plan, but things never go as planned. Something always changes, and some of the best things that happen are when things need to change, or when one thing goes wrong, something else goes right. And I think the reality of it's coming soon is just, it's a meme, but it's unfortunately true, because you don't want to say, okay, this is the exact date of early access that we have planned as of now, when we don't 100% know if we're going to hit it. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, this is the target deadline, but at this point, it makes sense if it's not exactly there at that one day that we already picked on our calendar, which we are on. I know we're on target to be, as Simon has generally said, February or March is the hope. We're still on target for that to be the case. That is the plan. But I've heard that we're, but like the exact date that we have, are we maybe a week or two behind? Probably, based, like you get to one point, they said, like, okay, this thing should be ready. At this point, we're going to do an audit for this or a review of this product, but it's not ready yet. So it's like things on the calendar, like it's just a little off. And I think that's going to keep happening no matter what stages we're in. Or any game, I think that's, with live ops games, you're going to have people asking for quality of life improvements, for this new thing to be added. We're done with all the content. What's next? Soon. Like, there's now almost never going to be exact answers, except for when it is done and it's ready and you can confidently say, this is the date. So I think I've learned to not be annoyed by soon. I think that's funny. For me, now that I've been inside the stuff, the idea of soon doesn't annoy me as much as it used to.
How did the TM thing start getting thrown around left and right? Because it was like the plan TM, soon TM, something else TM that was in there.
I feel like it comes with like the soon Shadow Legends memes, for us at least. But I don't know. Like, for me as a former Raid player, I just think of Raid Shadow Legends when I hear soon. That's because it became such a meme with the community. Wait, Shadow Legends, exactly.
Wait, Shadow Legends.
I was like, wait, Shadow Legends, soon TM. Like, I think that's where I never really seen it mentioned too much else, but our community is so heavily Raid players that I would expect some of those things to carry over and the jokes to carry over too.
Yeah.
That's just Simon though. Like Simon wants to be transparent as possible. So he's like, sometimes you might be like, you probably shouldn't say any date. No, we probably shouldn't, but we did. So, like, it kind of like you can't really take it back, and you don't necessarily want to because we want to share what we can as soon as we can.
Sometimes I wonder when I'm watching Simon leak something accidentally, is it a 4D chess move under the guise of joy, or is it like just joy? And that's just happening.
It's just joy.
And
He's a little kid in a candy shop that can't help himself. I feel that though. There's so many times I see something crazy and amazing in like one of our big meetings of the month, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait till people see that. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like I just want to shout it from the rooftops because something seems so cool, and like I can't wait till we can share it. But then there's also holding on to those moments. So some things that are soon, to bring it back to the soon TM. Some things that are soon are going to be things that we're going to wait for the players to experience that for themselves in that moment of your own discovery. We can't give everybody everything ahead of time, then there'll be nothing left to discover and have excitement about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is, again, why I just wasn't even looking at stuff when I found out that I could get into the alpha.
True.
I'm like, I don't want to know anything right now. I just want to see it and be surprised. Pengu was a big surprise for me. I had no idea who he was. I didn't know he was in the game. Thought the yin yang was cool. I was like, what's this all about? And then I just fell in love with the kit, and I was like, oh, the way to build him, so crazy. So then there was one question left. It was a question with a follow-up, and it was my question. But we've kind of already answered it in so many words. Suzi, is the reason you had to relocate to Romania because you are in fact a vampire?
To be honest, I would not be surprised if vampires were real. But no, sadly. No.
All right, you heard it here first. Suzi is not, in fact, a vampire.
No.
Have you been to, I'm sure you have, but have you been to Castle Bran? Did you go and do the whole...
No, I've done none of the castle tours living here for 3 years because I was...
Oh my gosh.
It was just content creator life. Full-time content creator before I became a Fateless employee. I still am. It's like I'm a full-time Fateless employee and a full-time content creator. It works somehow. But it was just always so busy. Like we didn't do much traveling around and exploring and doing random things because we were just so into like the games, especially like just playing the games, like so in-depth games like Raid are like full-time jobs to play them, let alone make content on them. So I always felt stressed when we would leave for vacations. Like the family does these like hot springs trips where we go to these thermal pools, like they're thermal pools pretty much fed with natural hot spring water with no chemicals, just all natural, really healing and comfortable and fun. Like a little mini vacation, and every time we'd go I'd be like stressed. I didn't like it's supposed to be relaxing, and I'd be like, I just want to go home and work on my content. Like I would feel so like, what am I missing? Oh, I have to prep videos ahead of time to be ready. I didn't prep enough videos. I wish I prepped more videos. Like I would feel stressed. So I think that mentality of working so much, but fun work, definitely took me away from potential travels. But I don't hate that. Me and Odd One are homebodies. We like to be home, playing our games, making videos, and watching TV. Like we're homebodies. We don't. Some people just. I'm okay with that. Like, but the occasional vacation. Sure, we're gonna go to Turkey again next year, and we went to a couple hot springs with Lily, which I put on my other channel in November or October. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, we're still doing stuff, but maybe not as much as the average person. But we're okay with that. Our antisocial. Family life though, big family. So
if I can put it on your radar, I know you know about it, but Pellish, that castle
I've heard that one looks
so incredible.
It looks really cool. I need to go there for sure.
The craftsmanship of everything on the interior, like I don't even really feel like I'm in a castle. I feel like I'm in like some kind of Victorian manor, but like the stair rails, everything's like hand carved. It's crazy. That's a crazy
And everything's so old in Europe compared to the US. Like we think we have, like I lived in Pennsylvania and Delaware, New Jersey, like all that stuff that they're like, oh yeah, that's old. But no, it's not. Like when compared to Europe, it's like, no, that's old. So I'm curious to see a lot more stuff that is that unique and old. Like it's so funny to say, but it's true. One of these days, I think my excuse is not stressing about that. Number one, now I have a 20-month-old daughter, so I don't want to leave her for more than the day. I don't even want to do any overnights yet. I feel weird leaving her. And then also, like, when people come to visit, it'll be a fun excuse to, okay, let's go meet in Brasov and go to some castles, or like that'll be a fun thing when we have visitors from out of town, whether that be someone like Simon and Rachel come back to Romania and we go somewhere with them, or anyone. Like it's kind of an open-ended thing. Like if anyone I know, community, content creators, staff, like come to Romania, like let's go do stuff. We'll show you around. We have places to stay. Like I definitely have had big plans and hopes for meeting people here, because it's a cheap vacation too. It's really cheap.
Brasov's a cool town. I mean, that's where I went. I went for work, but I was there for, I think, 8 days. So I got to do a lot of the stuff around that area, Pelish and Bran,
it's a beautiful area.
A bunch of the restaurants and bars.
I really want to go there.
Metal bar that we went to. I remember we were walking down the street to this metal bar, and the guy that I was walking with was like pointing at bullet holes in the buildings, and he was like, "Those are from the Communist Revolution." And I was like, "Holy crap."
Yeah, that's another. The effects of communism are definitely still pretty strong here.
Yeah. And the language, too, you mentioned earlier, I think, if I remember, the one thing I learned was like Mulțumesc, I think.
Mulțumesc, yeah, thank you.
It's a hard language because it feels like it has multiple different influences, like Russian, Spanish, Latin, Hungarian. Like it's like
said to be like
words.
Older than Latin, actually, like the actual Romanian language. Yeah. But yeah, you'll notice that there's a lot of the other languages are very similar. A lot of French, for sure. A lot of Spanish sounding, like you said. But I have a really hard time with a lot of the words, like getting our tongues to roll the right way. You know, like as Americans, we talk very differently with our pronunciation. So saying something with language. As Americans, you go somewhere else, you learn another language, you need to adopt their accent to say words properly, or you're just not saying it properly. But when other people speak English, they still keep their accent. It's so much harder.
Yeah,
it's one of those funny things. I realize, like we have to try to lose our accent on top of learning how to say the words at the same time, and it's just so hard. I don't speak fluent Romanian at all, and I've lived here for 3 years. And I need to try harder. That's my own fault, and I feel really guilty about it every day. But it's hard, and it's physically hard for me to say. My facial paralysis, I've been dealing with for almost 2 years now, Bell's palsy. It makes my mouth kind of mumbly sometimes. So that doesn't help me trying to say weird words when half my mouth doesn't want to work properly. That adds to the frustration, I guess.
I remember when you uploaded that video where it was like, hey, I woke up like this and I thought about not streaming, but I'm going to stream. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then you just kept going, never missed a beat.
Yeah, I took like maybe, I don't know what I did, like a few days, a week or something off. Like I just didn't post as regularly because my face would just hurt. Because like I still have trouble with my eye getting infected or just being irritated or getting sensitive to lights and stuff. I would do less content, but I think at the time I still had a Dragonair sponsorship that was like contracted to do a certain amount of videos too. So I kind of had to, or I mean, I could have stopped, but I was like, I can do a little bit. So I just went through and pushed through with no face for a while. And then I just showed up with the dang eye patch and I was like, it's fine. It is what it is. And I figured if anyone is going to pick on me for my appearance due to a medical issue, then screw them and happy to remove you from my channel. Like, goodbye, good riddance.
Well, let's see. Our last topic that we haven't talked about really is music. We talked about caroling, but I'm curious about just like the music that you actually care about and listen to.
I have to admit, I don't listen to music.
Like,
I'm
period?
one of those people, like at all.
Oh, interesting.
So I grew up as a teenager obsessed with like punk rock, emo, screamo, all that fun,
There you
like
go. Yeah.
early 2000s stuff. And I used to go to rock shows constantly. 16, 17, 18 years old, I would drive to like big cities alone and go to shows with strangers and give people rides, and that was crazy. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I definitely had. I had a fun. That was an interesting point in my life, just hanging out, meeting bands, and making new friends. And as someone who's actually pretty antisocial, that was like my social thing, was just meeting strangers at rock shows. It was pretty fun. But I don't know, as I got older, I kind of just lost an interest in it. Like, I don't know, I think I just, like, I'm someone who never plays music in the background when I'm sitting at my computer. Or when I'm just doing stuff, I never like, oh, we need music, it's too quiet. Like, that's not me at all. I don't know, I kind of grew away from music. I don't know that I feel bad about that. It's just the reality. I think I don't know. I used to love more like singer-songwriter type chill stuff when I do choose to listen to music or go on a random binge of something that feels nostalgic. It's usually something like Emily Kinney or Ingrid Michaelson or like the cool singer-songwriter chick type vibes.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not a big music person. Music is huge here in Romania though. They like to dance. They love and like his dad was an MC for weddings and like lead singer of a band, and his dad's pretty well known in the area, Odd Ones, for being a performer for his band. People know him, so it's cute.
So you got to go caroling with him then, because he's already got like celebrity status.
Yeah, I mean we definitely do that. Well, the caroling that we do usually is just family stuff, so that's simple at least. But yeah, whenever we have a wedding or something, he always takes the mic and he'll sing a song or two himself. Like it's fun. It's very, very big culture with music here, and I do like the traditional music. Some people, like, I'm sure the younger folks don't, that grew up with it, but as someone who is, to me, it's still new and different, and I quite like the traditional Romanian music myself.
The caroling, I guess I didn't even really think about this when you first mentioned it. It's in Romanian, right? So it's not like you can just jump in and sing
I can't
Jingle
sing
Bells
that shit.
Well, they're not talking about drummer
Actually,
boys.
I can sing Un Elefant.
Okay.
I sing little kid songs. No, that's all I can do so far. I've learned some little kid songs. That's about for Lily, the one that she liked. But it's like a very hard language, so no, I'm not very good at the Romanian music yet. But
I guess she's growing up with both languages, English and Romanian.
Yeah, we definitely originally wanted just Romanian to focus, but I can't help myself. Like I sucked at learning it, and honestly, it's the more I read, the more it seems it's better to expose them to as much as possible at young ages. It helps them learn and process better, and like she's gonna completely understand both. Yes, more Romanian we speak because like Adwan and his parents always speak Romanian to her, and even I do. Like certain things that I say I always use the Romanian commands or questions or comments or whatever, but I do speak to her in English, so I expect her to like understand both. Maybe not. I think she's gonna speak Romanglish. Let's be honest. She's gonna speak a little Romanglish. I think so. I think she's going to say really funny things. It's going to be adorable with this little toddler speaking two languages at once because she's not going to know the difference. But yeah, we mostly speak Romanian to her. But I'm glad to expose her to English, and hopefully it'll just help her learn languages future in life as well. And learning English is so important. That's what I could tell a lot of especially younger parents here really push their kids to learn English. Because they know anytime you travel, English is the one language that's in common, and and there's a lot of people do definitely value their travel times here to other countries. Like Turkey is really popular to travel to, and or Greece a lot, and yeah, it's good to learn both.
Going back to what you said about the going to shows a bunch when you were in 16 to 18, what was the best live show you ever saw?
Oh my goodness. That's hard. I think it's so hard now to think about it because I cringe at some of my decisions and what I listen to when I realize, you're like, oh my God. But like I've been to Warp Tour a bunch of times. I've been to the Taste of Chaos tour. So I've seen a lot of big acts. But I think I definitely was partial to my local favorites. So I don't really know that I'd have one thing that I would say is my favorite, but I definitely enjoyed the crazy experiences like Warp Tour. It was fun to do that when you're young. I could never do that now. Oh my God, I would die. But
Those are my shows, man. Like even today, I would rather go see a local punk band live for
yeah,
like $5 in the basement of some terrible bar than pay like
exactly.
$150 to go to a stadium to see, Dave Matthews or The Cure or something like.
Same. I have no interest in seeing big name acts in a stadium or something. None at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I think about memories of maybe similar stuff that you were into. I saw Andrew WK.
That's familiar, but not something I.
Every song is about partying, like let's party and
Oh,
like literally every song is about party. Anyway, he played a show. There was this period of his life where you could pay him $5,000 and he would come do whatever your event was. So like
aw,
a bar mitzvah, a punk show,
yeah,
a birthday party, like an anniversary. He'll do it for like $5,000. So
that's
in
cool.
Denver, there was a local Andrew WK cover band, and they had this festival every year for all the different bicycle gangs, because in Denver they have bicycle gangs. And so the bicycle gangs all put their money together and hired Andrew WK to come and then play with the Andrew WK cover band. So he played like a 2.5 hour set with like all these like kids who knew his music that he didn't know.
That's
And
cool.
everybody was like, there was this rotating line where people were leaving the crowd, going to the bar, buying tall boy PBRs, coming back into the crowd, opening them and just slinging them. So for like 30 minutes, it's just raining beer on this
Oh my
like rowdy
gosh.
group of bicycle gang people listening to Andrew WK sing with the high school Andrew WK cover band.
That's really funny.
Those are the things that I remember from live music, is just like really weird, insane stuff like that.
I think one of my cooler ones would be Emily Kinney, who she was also the actress of Beth on The Walking Dead. If you watched Walking Dead,
Oh, I didn't.
yeah,
Okay,
I
no,
saw
now I'm
her
making
live
connections.
with Paul McDonald. He's really good. He was on American Idol, I think it was. Yeah, I think. But that was a really cool show that I saw more as an adult, like out of the teenage years, that I really appreciated because I loved Emily Kinney and like very sweet, soft voice. Loved her. Love her music. She'll be the one that I randomly would just play here and there when I feel silly.
Nice. You'll come back though, like 2 years, 3 years from now, we'll be talking to you like, man, there's this Romanian band that I just discovered that's really cool.
The thing here that is like the cringe funny thing is like Manele. It's like their version
Manele?
of, yeah, it's like their pop music that's kind of like a little bit of a reggaeton vibe, but it's very like
Oh,
upbeat, very poppy, and they have all these cheesy things that they do. But it's so funny. That's like the funny cringe thing here. I've always wondered, like, am I ever gonna like Manele? I guess I'll find out.
is it like tongue in cheek? Are they being sarcastic, or is it just cringe
No,
because
no,
it's
it's
like,
it's just
eh,
it's just one of those. I'm sure there are some songs are good and interesting, but it's kind of like, you know how people just like to pick on popular music just because they like to be not whatever's
yeah.
popular isn't cool. It's just that kind of a thing here.
Milli Vanilli? Somebody will get that joke. Um,
Yeah.
well, cool. Well, anything Fateless wise you want to leak, or any news you want to talk about, or we thought we were getting a mini game 2 months ago, 1 month ago, a week ago, 2 days ago. So
I
maybe we
know.
just keep hoping.
Well, by the time this video is out, it will be out. I think.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
So, yeah, I guess what I will say, by the time you're watching this video, you probably have already watched Simon talk about the minigame and web event alongside, if you haven't already watched Ash's channel, Simon's doing a collab with Ash about Godforge. That probably would have been posted the previous Saturday on the 20th. That is also going to talk about that event as well. And yeah, it's the good thing is with Godforge and the plans for the mini game is there's been multiple options. So you might see this one might start a little simple, but be very rewarding. I promise, very rewarding and worth your time. But there might be more in the future. There's a lot of potential for some other fun mini games that could be used in so many different ways that we already have kind of in the pipeline. So more than just Godforge the game, I think there's a lot of fun potential to make at least events really unique and not just be so straightforward, if not a whole nother little side game itself.
And that'll be your like prime domain, right? When something fun comes out that's maybe a temporary or a way to get some rewards, and you're talking with the community about it. Got channels going on Discord.
Yeah, for sure. Like that I will say, if anyone has not already started playing the event and mini game that's going on now, you want to. It is free rewards for your real account that you will keep come early access. People will get to choose even a free legendary hero. So big stuff. Yeah. Big rewards for some little effort that is going to be completely free to play friendly. But there is a spending option as well. So you'll see what that is by now.
Okay.
Too.
Nice.
Teasers for Ned here. But teasers for Ned who hasn't seen it yet. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be here. It will be here. Unless something goes horribly wrong, then I'm so sorry.
Susie's like messaging me like 2 hours before the podcast goes live. Hey, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
It's Christmas. I don't have time to edit the podcast. It's edited anyway.
I'm struggling with, I'm definitely going to do it for my normal account. 100%, no questions asked. I'm going to get as many rewards as I can. But I do want to do a free-to-play series. And I think I want to do that as a purist. So I don't even think I want to set that account up for success. I want to come in with the experience of somebody maybe coming in a year later on ground zero with no bonuses.
I wouldn't do as like a year later mindset. I would, because you could always do a new free-to-play series in the future. Or things are going to change that make the free-to-play experience a different one. We have talked that there will be like catch-up mechanics. So your experience right now is not going to be the same. Even if you start with early access, your experience is not going to be the same as someone who starts a year after that. It's going to be different. So I wouldn't look at early access as the time to have like a long-term relatable free-to-play series. More so just have fun with it and encourage people to start with you. Honestly. And the mini, from what I remember being told, with this web event and mini game, it will roll through early access, not just end when early access starts. So anyone that starts the game at early access can still pick up on it as well. So hopefully the dates are going to be clear there, but it should roll later into the process. So the free rewards that we can get from this event, including a legendary hero, will be able for other people that find out later will be able to take advantage of it as well.
Well, no better Christmas gift for the community than that. For this community than that, I could think. Unless y'all just wanted to start handing out, like envelopes full of cash. But other than that, free legendary for Godforge. Well, thank you so much, Suzi. Thank you for coming today. Thanks for joining this still tiny podcast. And also, I've mentioned it before, but it's you and Sneaky were kind of the reason that this exists. Like between the two of you kind of got this going, and I appreciate all the feedback that you've given me in the background about everything. So just really appreciative. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was good chatting.
Yeah. And for everybody else, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Peace.